an irony. My mirror shows the other side of me. All these ones and zeros, nothing in between. But there's so much more to me than eyes can see. Than eyes can see. I'm not binary.
Hi everybody, I'm coming on live on my group, Intuitive Angel Messages here on Facebook, and I thought I would bring to the forefront a little bit about what is going to happen with your chakra centers moving forward, especially with Ascension picking up on planet Earth, aka also everything else is happening on Earth too. Yippee-ki-yay, am I right? Yippee-ki-yay! So moving forward, what's going to be happening with our chakra centers, and I don't know why else I put this in here other than I'm assuming Spirit wants to talk about this and needing spiritual protection or protection in general, okay? I personally wouldn't talk about this because I'm already like, you guys already know how I roll. You know, I don't ever see Jesus or the angels or anyone being fearful or needing protection. So it's not that this isn't something that if you feel it's important, then you do. But also what's important is just listening in with them during this live and seeing what they have to say about it moving forward, okay? Because that's what they want to talk about. It's not what I want to talk about, it's what they want to talk about. So we will talk about what they want to talk about. So just to let you guys know that I have a Learning to See Energy class coming up April 9th for only $20 if you're interested. And I also have a remote viewing course coming up April 15th, and that is for $129. That's going to be really exciting. And I'm teaching from the vantage point of Spirit and the angels and how they would like to teach us. So I'm super pumped about that because quite frankly, I do remote viewing, but as far as teaching it, I'll be depending on them to help and guide. So that'll be super fun. Can't wait. Several different things. And I feel like it's going to be, I don't know why, but I just feel lighthearted and kind of goofy and fun with this one. So that's going to be coming into the forefront. I'm sure I have probably a remote viewing angel on my team now that's all like, yippee, let's go for a ride, Kristin. And I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but I know it's coming from him. I guarantee it. But yeah, so that's coming up. And if you guys are interested, you can go to KristinDaviesMedium.com and I'll put the link above and below this video. Okay, so let's see what's going to be happening with our chakra centers. Let's talk a little bit about what's already happened with our chakra centers. Does anybody want to add 2 cents on that one while I'm waiting for you guys to talk about what has happened with your chakra centers over the last, say, 5 years? I will tell you what's happened with my chakra centers. You know, even 15 years ago, I would say my chakra centers were not very wide. Probably about that big, not very much energy flowing through them. I'm sure they maybe a little bit more than that, but that's what it felt like. I also remember Archangel Michael starting to work on a light highway between my third eye, straight through the 2 halves of my brain back to my pineal gland, and then the energy starting to just kind of go down my back as well. But the main key was to open up this light highway in between the third eye back to the pineal gland area in order to have an easier access of light frequency coming in there to channel and pick up on the information that was being relayed to me more easily and more fluidly. We can ask for that, by the way, but Archangel Michael has also stated that he will work on that with you if it's necessary or needed at this point in your life. So if nothing happens and you're not feeling that area open and expand with light frequency, it's just not the right time. And at some point when it is the right time, you'll know, right? So, so far over the past 5 years, I've really noticed my chakra centers opening and expanding. I did have an experience once with source frequency, just full throttle through the top of my head, straight through my body, out my root chakra, and then out all of my chakras throughout my whole body, just opening and fully expanding. I had to lay down on the couch for 25 minutes and I was barely hanging on. And I was just being guided to relax as best as I could, that my chakra centers were being opened, and then source frequency just slowly backed away. And why are we having our chakra centers open? Does anybody have any answers to that one? Why is it that our chakra centers opening is even important right now? Big whoop-de-doo, my chakra centers are opening. And so that's the question, isn't it? I'm trying to find myself on my group wall, and I'm curious to know where I am. Just give me a moment. There I am. Good. Whew. On my group wall, and I'm curious. There I am. All right. So, yeah. Kevin, you're cracking me up. I didn't even know chakras were a thing until a few months ago. Well, we taught you a bit about that during the Mediumship for Beginners course. I mean, you did learn quite a bit there. Yeah, so chakras opening and expanding is important because it allows for more light frequency, more light, more energy to come through your chakra centers in order for you to have more clear, fluid communication with this energy, such as your guardian angels, your spirit guides, source, the archangels. And yes, Joanne, it's easier to get a response. So instead of sitting there going, it's very quiet, now your chakra centers have opened and expanded further, and you are picking up on energy funneling through your vessel and then picking up on the words of communication that are coming from your team. So in the beginning, it will possibly sound like your internal voice forming words within your mind, and this is coming from your guardian angels. Okay, and they'll tell you who this is. Of course, Archangel Michael sounded just like Archangel Michael in the beginning for me. I had a reading just before coming live, and the person that I was having a reading with said, you know, Archangel Michael's voice is quite of a deep pitch. And I said, yeah, it really is for me too. That's how I perceive his voice to be a bit of a deeper pitch of tone of voice. So that was kind of interesting that she was receiving the same thing. But you also might receive guidance coming in, and it will be your own thought forms forming the words. Okay? And who's forming the words if it's not you? Spirit. Okay, so you know, there's been times where my guardian angel will come in and tell me something that's going to happen 2 days down the road, just to put me at peace and to direct me as to what the best course of action or action steps to take in at that time. And then I watched as it happened, and I was like kind of dumbfounded, but not really. Am I that shocked that my guardian angel knows what's coming? Oh, interesting. Interesting. So moving forward, you know, we have so many chakra centers. It's not just the main 7 that you have. You have many chakra centers, smaller ones. You've got, you know, your ear chakras. So if you're getting any energy pressure here or swirling sensation, they're most likely opening these chakra centers for you. Hey, yeah. And in the beginning, it might just be thought forms. It was for me for many years. And then as your chakra centers open and you funnel in more frequency and you become adjusted and comfortable with this communication, then it will come in more of their pitch and tone of voice. So I asked them once, why don't you just come in with your pitch and tone of voice? A, they don't want to freak out the unawakened ones, right? Two is the reason why also is because your chakra centers, as it, you know, they're maybe not as open, so maybe we're not funneling in as much energy. And three is because over time we become adjusted to their frequency, so therefore over time we will then pick up on more of their pitch and tone, right? So it kind of makes sense why they don't come right out the gate, you know, full throttle. Although there are many people I have met that A, were born like this, B, had maybe a near-death experience, or they've had something very startling happen, or they just had an intense experience where they were just communicating with spirit right out the gate. Oh, isn't that great, Abria? I love that you can hear your parents' pitch and tone of voice while you're channeling them, because that's how it is for me when my grandfather comes in, and it's been that way my entire life. He passed away when I was 10, and every time he comes to chat with me, I can feel his energy come in the room, and the expression of the emotion that he's emitting, I feel that through my body. It's usually like happiness or comfort. And then I hear his pitch and tone of voice that I haven't heard since I was 10 years of age. So it's just very wonderful for me. I love it. So it's important to know what's going to happen with your chakra centers moving forward, so you can anticipate, oh, maybe I'll be hearing and picking up on spirit more. Maybe this is a part of the veil thinning over time as we all are ascending and everyone's awakening on planet Earth, and it's going to make communication easier. Who doesn't want that? I mean, to make it fluid and easy. So let's talk about that, and then I'll let spirit go ahead and talk about whatever they want to talk about with spirit protection. Okay. Okay. So it's my guardian angel Agnes, and she's going to be taking the reins with communicating this to us. So over time, in the years to come, as we move forward on Earth, our chakra centers will become increasingly larger and more open. At some point, they will become so open that the energy will funnel through them, but also the energy will just funnel in even around the chakra centers. And then we will be funneling energy throughout our entire body. The energy will just be coming in through the entire body. And this will make it very easy for us to pick up on the communication that is coming forth through us. And it will be so strong and loud that you won't be able to deny it or ignore it. This is already happening with this dear one. Yeah. So I noticed over the years, the energy would come through the chakra center only. And now it's coming through the chakra center when they're working on the chakra center, or when they want to communicate. They come through my throat chakra, get my tension, make me cough a little bit. And then I just listen into what they want to say. But also the energy sometimes, you know, when source frequency comes around or my higher self wants to have a word with me, it just comes in through my whole body. So not just through my chakra centers. And it's very loud and very distinct, very noticeable. My guardian angel is talking about the ascension process must be taken slowly in order for us to feel comfortable, for our comfort, and gradual, because she's talking about individuals that have had the ascension process or awakening more rapidly. It has been startling and jarring for them. So they don't recommend that. They recommend this to be a comfortable experience for each of us. But we have our own free will to say, yeah, ramp things up. Let's go faster. Let's do this. But she doesn't recommend that. Okay? So divine timing and gradual, being comfortable, most important. We're going to receive information and guidance directing us in the future, which will become increasingly loud and clear guidance moving forward as our chakra centers open and expand. She's talking about to their full capacity. So you know how when we come here to Earth, we're kind of pinched off from source frequency a bit, just a bit, huh? And so the chakra centers opening, expanding allows us to be more connected to all the energy around us. So we're not as pinched off. And then they're open and functioning at full capacity. Love that. Love that, Richard. As far as protection is concerned, those of you that focus your attention on the depths, low vibrational television programs, low vibrational news, low vibrational movies, low vibrational conversations, low vibrational people, low vibrational experiences, there's a higher probability of you manifesting more of that into your reality. So she doesn't recommend it. She has a warm smile when she's saying that. Also, when you are, she says, everything that you're observing is emitting a frequency. So if it feels really good while you're listening to someone or watching something, whether it's a TV show, a movie, or something broadcast on YouTube or Facebook, whatever it may be, on whatever topic it may be, it's really important to sense and feel if it feels good and relaxed and comfortable, or if it doesn't. If you get a tight feeling sensation in your body, or a resistance or a pullback sensation, okay, that is your team warning you to place your attention elsewhere. Some of these television programs, she's talking about the low vibrational ones. She wants to talk about the paranormal ones. They are coming out on our television screens in order to help awaken the masses, because it's creating curiosity and then more questions and questioning things, and that therefore is furthering one's awakening process. Rather than being okay with life like this, they're starting to be curious, and they're starting to kind of move the blinders a bit to see that maybe possibly there's something else out there other than what they can see with their eyes only. However, as you start to awaken and you start to then ascend further, and your chakras start to open further, and you start to progress further, and you become more and more sensitive, it's important to steer clear of these types of programs. I'm even getting video games, Richard. She's talking about video games. If you feel fatigued, tired, again, that tight resistance in the body, maybe subtle nausea, you're not feeling good while you're doing something like that, it's important to slow down, do it less often, and do other activities that make you feel good, like walks out in nature that uplift you, that give you more energy rather than draining your energy. And that even goes for the foods that we consume. Some foods are uplifting and they have a lot of energy and high vibrational frequency, and they make you feel really good, where other, she's putting in quotations, foods, meaning they're not really nutritious or good for your body, or even what they would consider as being food, are stifling the energy, draining the energy, and kind of like, how do you want to say that? She's like talking about like the suffocation of the light. So if you're constantly putting in this type of food into your body, it's not as easy for the light frequency to come forth and permeate your vessel, because your vessel is lower in frequency with this low vibrational food, for example. So it's really important for you to gauge how you are feeling when you are doing certain activities such as video games, watching certain TV shows, movies, eating certain foods, or when you're around certain people. Are you feeling drained and tired when you're around those people, or tired and drained when you're listening to the words that they're speaking? So this is really important. When we're watching certain things like paranormal programs on TV, when we are more open than we once were, it's no longer serving our highest and best good to watch these programs, because the light, how do you want to say that? Light frequency? The light codes coming through the television screen from those programs can drain your energy and can, she's talking about that frequency coming into your home and just dropping the overall frequency in your home. Now, granted, she says you can call upon Archangel Michael in that moment to vacuum your home or even to shield the TV. She even recommends, if you feel that you cannot turn these types of programs off, and or you don't want to turn them off, and you don't want to make any changes with these movies and these TV shows or YouTube videos that you're watching, she highly recommends that you ask Archangel Michael to shield your TV, shield your laptop, shield your phone from these incoming frequencies, so that they do not impact you, the inhabitants that are in your home, or the overall frequency and energy in your home. You doing this helps Archangel Michael. If you've asked him to move into your home, by him shielding your devices, it just helps him from constantly having to clean up your home and clean the energy on a regular basis. Okay? And she's kind of chuckling and helping out Archangel Michael by saying that, because otherwise, then Archangel Michael's constantly cleaning up the energy in your home on an ongoing basis. She says it's the equivalent of somebody coming into your home with muddy boots and then dragging the mud all over on your carpets. And then Archangel Michael having to vacuum the carpets, and then he has to get the steam cleaner out to clean your carpets. Think about Archangel Michael. Have your devices shielded if you cannot turn them off. But she guarantees you at some point, moving forward, as you become more and more open, as your chakras become more and more open, you will feel less drawn and less desire to watch those types of programs. And in fact, you may sense and notice the high vibrational energies that are around you, such as your guardian angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, will stop in for a visit, and you'll get a talking to about turning it off, because it's not good for you anymore. You're too open, you're too far along on the ascension process to continue watching that content. The more open you become, the more this energy can drop your frequency, because you're more open, right? Toby, you're cracking me up. Yeah, think about Big Mike and all the extra work you're going to put him through. He'd probably do it in about a hot second, but yeah, we get it. All right, anything else? As far as protection is concerned, if you feel drawn to certain practices such as saging your home, using crystals, putting plants in your home to uplift the energy, asking for the frequency to be uplifted in your home, you can do these things if you so wish. However, what's most important is where you place your attention and your focus. Okay, what are your predominant thoughts and the words that you speak? Because you're sending that out, that energy out, and that is an indicator as to where your vibrational frequency is. And what types of programs are you watching? What type of information are you continuously focusing upon? she's talking about where you place your attention, you know, you create more of those thoughts, you create more of those experiences moving forward. So she says we can take it all the way back through the saging and all the rest of it, whether we're using sage or salt or whatever we're doing, and it will come right back here, right here. What is it within me that is a vibrational match for this ongoing, these ongoings, this energy that is surrounding me? What kinds of different decisions, choices, and actions can I make to shift my own vibrational frequency so that I am no longer a vibrational match for this vibrational frequency that I do not care for? Okay. Yeah, me too, Connor. I can't watch it anymore either. Like maybe at Halloween, and if I do, I try to do more of the PG rated stuff, and then I'm like, Big Mike, can you vacuum and shield the TV? And then that's about it. Yep. Richard, there's a sign for you. All right, so anything else? So it will always stem from you. That is where it will stem from. And she knows that a lot of us don't want to hear that, or we're doing everything we can. What is it? What other changes can I make? So she would then ask you to do an assessment of where you have been placing your attention and your focus over the years, because what you've been thinking and what you've maybe been obsessing over, or what you've been focused upon over the years prior, is now manifesting out now. So moving forward, she says you can ask for that to be cleared, and then placing your thoughts, your focus, your attention elsewhere. And that will take practice, and practice over time as well. Okay? So if we're used to obsessing about something, or focusing upon someone or something, in order to change that, okay, we will have to work at that. Oh, that's great. Yeah, a lot of the time, you know, you might be with a partner in your home that is obsessively watching the news and talking about the news and da-da. So, you know, an agreement might have to be made that, okay, you can go ahead and do that, but that will be in your TV room, and I don't want to hear about it anymore. And then I would have to have, obviously, Archangel Michael in my home to constantly vacuum the home. And also I could ask Archangel Michael to shield me from that frequency too. So yeah, you go do you, and I'm gonna go do me. Anything else? She says that's about it moving forward for the future. She's talking about us holding on to our hats, because there's much more yet to come. There's going to be more layers added to the already heavy-duty pressure cooker that's taking place on Earth in our three-dimensional realities. And also, she's talking about shortages, price hikes, and it's really important for us to hold steady and ask for help. And help will come. And help will... She's also talking about help coming in unexpected ways. So don't try to anticipate how it's going to come in. Just ask for it. Ask for it. Okay. Now that's in our three-dimensional reality. Okay. What we can touch, feel, taste. Okay. Sensory reality. Now, in the non-physical, the higher frequencies that are here, there's also more changes to come, which is going to result in opening and expansion of our chakra centers, changes in friendships, changes in careers, changes in locations where we live. Oh, there's going to be mass growth she's talking about taking place moving forward. And some of us will be ready for more than others. Some are going to be more closed off and not interested, so they're not going to maybe awaken as quickly and then, ascend as quickly as others. But it's really important just to allow others to be as they choose. That's really, really important. Boy, have I learned that. I have learned that. Let me tell you, because I wanted to give my opinion as the indigo I am during every reading that I've ever had. And, okay, gently put in my place repeatedly until I got the memo. Just allow people to be as they choose. Okay, that's a lot easier. I don't have to struggle and strife with people. I don't have to buck the current. I don't have to try and push against the current. No, I can just let them be as they choose. Oh my God. And even when I'm channeling, they'll tell me, they'll get a recording of this and then they can watch it back. Some of it might not sink in right away, or they may not even understand it right away. I've even had people email me days later. One lady from China, and she's like, she's so resistant during the reading, and then watched it back a few times, and then she's like, I'm starting to get it. Now I'm starting to get it. So it just might take some time. Yeah. Kevin, the stuff you say, I mean, seriously. Too funny. You'll know if you have blocks if you, is there something in your life that's draining your energy or not feeling good? You can also ask the question to your team and get a yes or no response in the body, right? So then you're like, okay, well, can you help me clear any blocks, please? Also, I think the main blocks really, from what I'm gathering, is what thought forms are rotating in your mind. What are you thinking? Catch those. When something starts to sync your frequency and you're like, oh, I've had that same thought about 10 times in the past hour, that might need help. Okay, angels, come and help transmute this and help me with this. Anything that's uplifting and makes you feel good and makes you feel vibrant and high vibrational, there's no block there. You're just funneling happy times, high vibrational frequency, which is what everybody is here on the other side. That's what source frequency is. That's what the archangels are. That's what the angels are. That's what your guardian angels are. That's what your loved ones are. You think your loved ones are sitting there freaking out and asking about protection? Or do you think they're over in pure light and love, enjoying the good times in heaven? And, that's another reason, because we don't want to manifest anything other than that when we cross over. We are not going to go down that path and manifest that reality for ourselves when we cross over. We're only having the good times, only the wonderful times. When I see where I hang out in heaven, it's a little cottage with an open field with wildflowers and trees. And I can see my loved ones that I've incarnated with. And they come through the forest to visit me, and they're all like white energy. And they're so happy to see me. And I remember Archangel Michael taking me through the field, and I was going to go through this portal with him to come and incarnate on Earth, and I really didn't want to go. And he said, come and follow me. And I knew I was going, and I knew that it wasn't just about me. I knew it was also about helping others the best that I could. And I remember slowing the experience down and just touching the tips of the wildflowers with my hand as I walked behind Archangel Michael, and then into the portal we went. So it is, and every time I check in on loved ones, they are in absolute, there aren't even words to describe how blissed out they are. Like, they are in the most incredible place that you could ever possibly imagine, times a billion. Even when my angel opened up and passed through my body at the age of 28, I can't even express how much love that was, because I've never even come close to experiencing that on Earth. Not even close. Picture like the most purest form of love, and intensify that by 100 million, and then it piercing through your body and then passing out through the back of your body. And then I'm just blissed out of my mind. And I was bawling my eyes out for an hour prior. So yeah, when we say that they can turn things around for the better for us, that's an understatement. It's not important whether you believe or not. It's important that you ask for help. Help me. That's all you have to say. Help me. Thank you. In every aspect, every area. Thank you. Let's just cover the gamut. And then they help you in ways that you can't imagine, like Jesus telling me I should put my running shoes on when I'm going to the hairdressers, and I'm like, why would I do that? I always wear my slippers. I'm going to wear you should put your running shoes on. I'm like, I'm wearing my slippers. Why the heck would Jesus tell me to wear my running shoes? That's kind of silly. And the car that I was driving at the time that I asked for help to replace, that kept breaking down on me, I ended up getting in a car accident. And it was the woman's fault. Obviously, her soul agreed to this. It was totally covered under her insurance. I got a big check in the mail, and then I was able to go get a nice new car. So, thank you, Jesus. Should have worn my running shoes as I was standing on the sidewalk with the police officer that just happened to be the ultimate witness that viewed the whole thing. And she was like, the lady drove off. It wasn't my fault, blah, blah, blah. And the police officer, it was totally her fault. Yeah, that was like, okay, whatever. So I crawled out the passenger side in my slippers, standing on the sidewalk, waiting for my friend to come, waiting for the tow truck to come, standing there in my slippers with wet hair after the hair salon. So you can't imagine how spirit can come in and help you. You can't even imagine. And the whole time I knew Jesus was in the passenger side with me, knowing I was totally protected and safe. But that was one great way of getting the car replaced. Thank you, Jesus. Super, super awesome. What a wise soul he is. Why not work with somebody that knows what they're doing, who can help you along the way? And if it's not Jesus, pick your grandma and grandpa. P.S. They're probably going to call in Jesus to help you. If you need it, right? Why is it that you don't just open up like that and pass through? So why don't the guardian angels just pass? It's when you need it. They're not to intervene. They're only to intervene when it's what they would deem as an urgent case-by-case basis. I was obviously an urgent case. Because, at that point, I'd been sick for a year. I'd lost my period. I broke up with my boyfriend. My dog just died. When we talk about loss of hope, I was like, there. I was at a loss of hope. Also, it was, she's talking about divine timing. Like, it was time for me to start moving on the path of learning about the angels, using angel cards, and starting to build curiosity in this direction. Because otherwise, I was totally on the unawakened, superficial path of partying all the time. So now I had been unwell for a year, and that was long enough. She basically introduced herself to me, and then next thing you know, I was seeing a deck of angel cards at the local Costco, and then I started to move in a totally different direction than I'd ever moved before. So it's pretty cool how they operate in ways you can't imagine. Any last words? She's talking about coping versus thriving, and irregardless of what is transpiring in your life and the loss of control you may be feeling. Well, I think this is for me and anybody else who can relate. It's important to do the best that you can to focus on the light and the lighter aspects of your reality while things are working themselves out. Trust and have faith, let go and let God. Now she's saying, Amen. All right, everyone.